Alright, this is your boy Jug. This might be my last video, or it might be my first of many. Before I continue the video, a few disclaimers. There's probably a black line at the very top of the video. For whatever reason it happens on my phone. So today I'm just going to be talking about how you can get, I wouldn't say big stats, but bigger stats as a free-to-play player. Or somebody who spends very little money, $50 a month or less, right? Maybe $100. If you look at my stats here, so I haven't spent money on this game in well over a year. Let's say a year and a half. I'm in Kingdom 440, so our kingdom's not even quite 2 years old. But, I mean, I originally bought nothing really for stats. It was some construction equipment, some research gems, the accolade that lowers the cost for war books, and I think the honors a couple times. Well, so obviously you can see my stats here. I've got terrible infantry stats, terrible cavalry stats, and my distance stats are much, much higher. All right, hindsight 2020, I would actually have high cavalry stats and not high distance stats, but when the new guard weapons first came out that had the honing stats, I put it all into cavalry. Now, eventually, I put it all into distance. I might eventually switch it over to cavalry, but right now it kind of works for me because most everybody has cavalry stats. So, yes, this is basically 100% free. Everything I bought a year and a half ago is virtually worthless now, except for the construction and gems and accolades, right? So the nice thing about putting all of your stats, and I mean all of your stats in just one, okay, spreading them out, that used to work for free-to-play players when you had millions and millions of troops and they had, and I know some people say that meat shields work. Meat shields do work if you have the stats to back them up, but if you don't have the stats to back them up, I'm sorry to say, after one hit, that meat shield's not going to help you, because during KVK or during a loss event like KR, a Kingdom Raid, your little troops are going to go to the hospital, and then your big troops, your T12s, your T11s, whatever it is that you have, are going to go to the loss hospital. So that's why I do it this way. You might have your own way. Everybody's got their own way of playing. So what's the nice thing about putting all your stats into one place? Number one, when somebody hits me, okay, if you look at my troops here, I've got 280k. I just killed off a whole bunch of my infantry for KVK to get a few extra points. But I usually have about 500k infantry, just so if somebody uses Anne or Aramis, I have enough infantry to help fill the tower. But I have virtually no infantry. I've got about 2 marches, a little less than 2 marches of cavalry. Again, so that I can help somebody else when they're megaing a tower or whatever. And honestly, during KVK, it's always been enough. We never have a lack of people joining mega rallies, so I could send 500k or I could send a full march. It doesn't really matter. But if you look down here, I've got 5 million distance troops, and I've got quite a few in the hospital right now. So you look here in nope, not there, not the sanctuary, in the regular old hospital, I've got a couple 100k or whatever. Let's see here. Yeah, about 360k. So again, so the nice thing about putting all your stats into one area, when somebody hits you, if you put, say, your extra gold guard or whatever on your wall, like most people like to have this guy, Rochefort and Grimald on their wall. But for me, because I don't have hardly any infantry or cavalry, I put him and Lucien, just because I don't generally use Lucien for my marches, but I've got a couple extra distance guards kind of almost maxed out. So I generally use Mop-In and Erebah just because they're higher in stars, and I find that I do more damage and I take less damage using those two troops, even though, or those two guards, even though Lucian's got higher stars. You guys might find different results, but that's just kind of what I get. You know, I've got Santa Claus here. I don't have his last ability open, so I don't use him. But I do use Duke of Buckingham, like if I'm in Darklands, you know. I'll use him and Jussic to send to another tower. Yeah, their purple guards are not as good, but they do kind of work. But I can focus all, you know, I don't have to level up the new cavalry guards. I don't have to level up the new infantry guards. I can just focus on distance guards. So when somebody hits me and I've got Lucian on my wall, it tends to do a lot of damage. I mean, they've got to chew through all those troops. Yes, I don't have my infantry to protect them, right? But I find that infantry dies off too easily, especially even if my stats are kind of even. Again, this works for me. So let's take a look at my coat of arms. All right, so if you look at my coat of arms here, I've got all of my materials, and again, I'm 100% free-to-play player, right? I got legendary, rare, and flawless, okay? Just for my distance stats. Let me go to my troop. Again, I focus more on my distance stats because I don't need it for all my troops. So I focus more on distance first, and then I focus on troop next. In the future, if I want to switch over to cavalry, I can. So I've got precious, and basic here. So next 50% event, hopefully I'll have a lot more materials where I can upgrade these a fair bit more, and I'll probably, because my troop stats aren't nearly as high, I might start going for those or put 50-50. But another thing, I never ever upgrade unless it's a 50% event. The only time I upgrade outside of a 50% event is when I'm switching to whatever new coat of arms are coming out or whatever new gemstones are coming out, if I'm not going to gain any points, or if I've maxed out on points during the 50% event and they have a pirate event right afterwards. So I'll upgrade whatever I have just to get a few extra stats. Yeah, and you know, I mean, if you look at the leaderboards in my kingdom, for example, let me, I'm probably not on the top 10. I might not be on the top 10 of individual power anymore because I lost a few. Yeah, I'm still top 10, even though I've lost a couple 100 million power. So I know, and all these guys up here are at least semi-spenders, right? You got our top 3 spenders there at the top there. They spend the most. They have the highest stats. Captain Lover and Cetos, I'm 99% sure they purchase speed ups, but I never have purchased speed ups and don't ever. But the only time I build a ton of troops is when, number one, we've won KVK, and again during the 50% events, or to recover my losses from KVK. I don't just build troops willy-nilly whenever I feel like it. I wait for these because you've got the most boosts up. I always use the temporary accolades. I always also use, because I always get top 3 points-wise, generally speaking, for UAC. So I always use, what is this one? Where is it? Troop training speed, battlefield hero. You get that as a prize if you get one of the top chests for UAC, right? So I mean, it's not a lot, but it helps, right? A little extra 5% here, a little extra 5% there. And if I know I'm going to be building, you know, if I got like 10,000 hours of speed ups, see how many do I got now, just as an example. I've got 8,000 right now. I know if I've got 10,000 or more, whoever's king, which, let's see here, whoever's king, I'll usually ask them to, let's go to the Great Hall. I don't think we can see it. I'll usually ask them to give me the, God, my brain's not 100% functioning today. Had a bit too much to drink last night. So I don't think you can see it, but I asked them to give me the, whatever gives me an extra troop speed, so that I'm getting that little extra percent. And during the 50% event, I always buy that, the troop speed boost as well. Only if I'm building a ton of troops. If I'm not, then I'll wait until the next one. Like this last 50% event, I hardly built any troops. I got up to like the first or second tier, but generally I get pretty much all the way till the end, the very last one or the one before the last tier. It helps me get stats, I get more troops, and like pretty much the only time I'm building infantry and cavalry is just for my dailies. I pop in there, I do 24-hour allotments. So I build 24 hours worth of troops every single time, and that's the only time I build a bunch of cavalry or infantry. The rest I spend all of it on distance. So let's see here. I'll go into my guard weapons. It's pretty much the same thing. You go into my guard weapons, forge guard weapons. I've only got one of the new ones, and all these old ones here. I generally don't buy any of these new scripts. Let's see, for example, if I want to craft this. I don't buy these unless I'm a little bit short. Like, let's say I won quite a few of these on Tide of Darkness, and I only need 20 or 30 more, then I'll purchase them. I spend all of my coupons, or whatever you want to call it, for the 50% event, I spend them all on materials. And I find that in the long run, if I'm buying those scripts, you get the temporary stat boost, but when everybody's got those same parts, you're no longer, you'll be ahead of them maybe for 3 weeks or a month. But I tend to stay pretty high. I'm a non-spender, and in my alliance, I would say I have the third highest stats in my alliance, and I'm one of the very few that doesn't spend any money at all. So yeah, and another good thing, since I don't have infantry, I don't really have a whole lot of cavalry, I can put all my intensity gears into distance, So if I wanted to remove the cavalry damage received, the infantry damage received, and let's say I want to go to 7 stars for my distance. Where is distance? No, not there. Down here, I believe. Yeah. So let's say I want to bump this up to 7 stars, which a lot of people don't know. You can actually remove these. You click on the plus. There's a little clock looking thing, a little circle over here. You just click on that, and it just resets. So it basically just gives you 10 of each of those. And if I wanted to put it towards my very first 7 star, I could do that. I'm not quite there yet. I've probably still got at least another 6 months before I get my first 7 star. But it's just something to think about, Again, hindsight 2020, I probably would go full cavalry. Cavalry's the strongest troop in the game at the moment, other than PvE, player versus environment, like when you're hitting the wolf or the vampire. I can't look at it now because I'm in KVK, but we had the vampire hunt. So I'm bound to Sith Lord Alliance, so I don't think I can check it. Hunt reward. We got rank 7, and even though my stats aren't as high as the highest guys in my alliance, they use cavalry, I use distance. I still got more damage. I got the highest damage in my alliance for the vampire hunt, and just because I use distance. Again, If I'm going after somebody who's got similar stats to me, like let's say I want to send a march against cavalry in UAC. If they've got the same stats as me, I've probably got to send 2 marches a distance to even knock out that tower. So again, yeah, I mean, if you want to be a bit of a bigger free-to-play player, you probably got to log in 3 times a day, almost every single day. You know, you got to burn as much stamina as you can. You got to be there for events. And I know that the event rewards aren't great, but over 2 years' time, you know, I mean, if you look at my guards, for a free-to-play player, yeah, it took me, let's see, how many days have I logged in? I think I can look up here. Oop, wrong one. VIP. Is it going to tell me how many days I've logged in a row? Yeah, 688 days today. That's how long I've been playing. So, and these are my guards that I've got maxed out. You know, obviously with the new guards, they don't, you know, they're all on average about 3 stars, except for her. I've got her at 2. But yeah, and you know, when you have your guard events like you do right now, for example, I'm personally not going to spend my guard recruits because they're going to give me a cavalry guard. Yeah, it would be nice to have just one of her, so when I finally unlock these new ones, you know, I can have an extra gold guard to throw in there. But you know, I'll wait until the next event is going to give me a distance guard, and then I'll go all out for it. So I get to save those up. I know it's a lot about patience. In this game, if you want to have bigger stats, in my opinion, it's about patience. You know, and I'm saying bigger stats as a free-to-play or very, very low spender. And this might even be an option for somebody who is a big spender. You know, if you don't mind having 10k stats for distance, 10k stats for infantry, and 22k stats for cavalry, you know, there's absolutely no reason why you can't do it. You know, so and another thing, you know, with you know, if you don't have that many war books, which I do, I can't really see it because of the black lines up there, but let me see. I think I can roll it around. There we go. If you guys can see that, I've got 14, 40, and 30. I've been playing for 688 days. That's why I have so many. I've never actually bought them during the event unless I'm short a few. But if you guys don't know, you can actually go into the Alliance Hall of Heroes. I'm going to have to flip it around again. Sorry guys if this is giving you motion sickness. Go into the hero store here at the top. And where are they? You can't find them here. Item list. You might have to put them in your alliance. It's only 260 for one. I can't buy them right now. So, you know, so you can get 100 for, let me do a little bit of math. 22,000 coins. You know, I've got tons just because there's nothing that I need, and I'm kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that GOG will eventually give us the new marquee badges in the Hall of Heroes. It could happen. You never know. I know a lot of people will be like, oh, GOG's never going to do that. You never know. I don't want to wait 2-3 years to hit C44. Yeah, basically, you know, if you're a free-to-play player, you've got to log in more than other people if you want decent stats for a free-to-play player. You've got to try to participate in events. You know, it's not all about free. It's all not about spenders, especially with events like UAC and Darklands. If you're more competitive and you're out there getting into every single tower, you know, you're going to rank. I generally rank first place or even top 3 in Darklands, just because I have 4 marches out in towers, and my 5th march is usually just hitting somebody who's unlucky enough to be under like 1,200,000,000 power, that I can actually hopefully do some damage on. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I wanted to discuss. Again, this might be my last video. I might make a few more. Let me know what you guys think. I know everybody's gonna be like, there's gonna be some people that are naysayers saying, there's no way you have those stats as a free-to-play player. You probably don't. I look at a lot of the guys in my alliance. They log on just as much as I do. They're always online. They're online at least 2 or 3 times a day, every single day, and they're there for all the events. But they've got let me go back here. They've got an average stat of, let's say, 12,000, and 14,000 for whatever troop they're pushing on. And yeah, it's, to me, I'd rather be able to go out there and zero a couple low spenders or no spenders than not be able to hit people. Because I'm still running mega rallies during what you call it. Usually it's a double mega rally during Darklands or even UAC. If I need to hit somebody who's a bit bigger than me just to get them out of a tower. But another good thing is with the accolades, I really only need to invest in the distance accolades and the troop accolades from the catacombs. I don't have to buy the other ones. I do on occasion, like if I'm really going hardcore out in UAC, just to kind of have that little bit extra protection if somebody big and mean with 12K, 14K, 15K troop stats and 22, 23K wants to come up and hit me. So, but yeah, if you see my war books, honestly, I mean, I've got all of the ones I need in distance, but I don't have anything other than T12. In my personal opinion, unless you're a super spender, you're spending $500 a month or more, at least. I find lower tiers to be nothing but a nuisance. Again, they fill up your hospital. They're great for no loss events like Darklands and UAC, but during KR, I mean, if you're going to actually be out in the forest during KVK, maybe not so great. Again, they fill up your hospital first. But again, that's just my opinion. Everybody's welcome to their own. If you guys have your own little strategies or whatever to get higher stats for next to nothing or spending very little, drop it down in the comment section below. Good to be back, but not be back. And I'll chat with you guys soon. Peace.